Mutsvanga was going to brief the members of the Fourth Estate, and I just want us to listen to the press briefing of Chris Mutsvanga. I just want to take how long will this actually take. It's quite lengthy, so without wasting much of your time, let me take you there. We'll be listening to the audio version. Oh, okay. What is happening? I'm trying to see what...
They relate to each other. I mentioned these three institutions, the executive, the legislature, Zimbabwean body, population. Everybody is proud once again, to be Zimbabwean. Our diaspora is walking with a spring in the countries where previously they did not even want to be identified as Zimbabweans. They now feel that wearing the badge of Zimbabwe is a good thing. I was just in London with the Minister of Women Affairs. It was a pride to see so many Zimbabweans come for Zimbabwe Culture Week to the embassy. But even a bigger pride to see a national team of Zimbabweans, with the majority of them coming from the diaspora and a lot of them being young people who play in the English league. Now they all want to have a Zimbabwe passport and play on the badge. It's happening across other fields of sport. This is a good thing. This is a hallmark of the achievements of President E.D. Mnangagwa. So when you come, we want you to help us spread the word that the minister is doing a good work, is doing good work for Zimbabwe. And because you write on record, you are not social media, you carry more weight about what you say. Maybe you can help us marginalize some of the tendentious things which are going on social media, which have absolutely no bearing to the reality of what Zimbabweans are doing as they go to work to make their country prosper again. This week is the culmination of the 90 days of CAB3. We have worked hard as a party to advance our position within the ambit of the Constitution. We have our political commissar and the Secretary General and of course the legal department. They were the ones who were seized with this matter within the party. I hope you do take cognizance of the fact that this was essentially an executive cum parliament undertaking. There were some smatterings about going to the judiciary by some people in Zimbabwe, which of course is right and proper under the Constitution. I mentioned these three institutions, the executive, the legislature, and the courts, the judiciary. These are the pillars upon which our Constitution stands, and they were the ones who have due authority about any constitutional matters about the future of Zimbabwe. So as a party, we participated as any other citizen. We participated as any other citizen, and I think we did a fair job about arguing for our position as the matter was gazetted by Parliament after, of course, the executive had submitted the document, the proposed bill to Parliament. And there were those who felt that it could go to the courts. I don't know how far it went. But these are the right things about a constitutional democracy. Nothing wrong with it. And as a party, we respect all those processes. And we pretty much, as the politiburo of the party, kept out of the fray, waiting to hear the reports of our teams on the ground. We have had 2 meetings since this process has gone, and all of them went well. And we felt very proud about what our teams had done about CAB3. But the most important thing, which of course is maybe the main point of my press conference, is the resonant response of the people of Zimbabwe to this constitutional process. We have always argued as a party, we are proud of the fact that we have the most structured and organized political population on the African continent. We have. And the reason we have is that to be where we are today, it was a painful process, which had to involve a lot of sacrifice by almost every Zimbabwean family to be where we are, to get our independence. What it did is it raised the consciousness of Zimbabweans about who they are, how they relate to each other as they strove for unity to achieve the goal of defeating an interloper and restoring regenerating the Zimbabwean nation. So out of that comes a level of organization unparalleled on the African continent. I repeat, unparalleled on the African continent. We faced a ferocious and organized enemy who had honed the skills of imperial control of other nations. The British Empire, the sun never set, from China, Hong Kong, through Malaysia, Burma, through India, through the Middle East, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, all these Arabian countries, Africa, the whole of it, including South Africa, crossed the Atlantic, America itself, which of course later rebelled in Canada. So this is an empire which knew its game of control. And in Africa, they gave up many other territories, but they wanted to keep this one. And they put all their organizational flair to try to keep this one to themselves. So for Zimbabweans to be where they are, they had to raise the bar of organization to a superior level to that of the enemy. So we are the most organized and structured society, population of the African continent. And we should be proud about it. And when we go about our democratic affairs, it shows. And this process, which has just been going on, the CAB process, has shown Zimbabweans, look at this, the resonant response of the population at the grassroots level. We are a party of the people. It dismisses those who feel that you can somehow control ZANU through influence. No, you control ZANU PF through popular will. That's what it is. And I want to highlight a positive aspect emanating from that. When you are in a relay race, the point of vulnerability is when the stick is being handed from the previous runner to the next runner. That is the point of vulnerability. And 2028 had now been earmarked by some, those by detractors, as the point of opportunity, by enemies, as the point of opportunity that somehow when the stick is going to be handed, we can find a way where we can snatch it to Tizanacho to Pindamkom, so that the winning team loses the race or loses direction. The winning team is one of the President Mnangagwa. So it was very important that authority of the party, authority of its leadership, be strong at that point of 2028, because that would have been the point of vulnerability. And what our population has done in demonstrating where it stands in support of President Mnangagwa to continue to 2030 is an affirmation of the fact that the party is strong, that is, it has got the support of the people, and that the leader of the party, who has done so well, is enjoying near universal, if over universal support from the population of Zimbabwe. It has really made those who were thinking that something can happen about Zimbabwe think twice, the detractors. Even those who wanted to go to the courts, they had to throw up their hands. Maybe they still are going to do it. What has scared them? They've been intimidated by the popularity of the president and the fact that they are saying, if it is not broken, don't fix it. This man is doing a good job. Let him continue because he is alert. He is aware of where we want to go. And we want continuity, we want stability. That's what the participation of the Zimbabwean population demonstrated. So we are not going to interfere with the other process. I told you they belong to the judiciary, they belong to the parliament, which is going to deliberate. They belong to, of course, the executive. But what we are just happy about is what our population has demonstrated about their support of the president. Those, of course, there are men who may have ambition in the party. There may be some who may have looked at 2028 as an opportunity to exercise ambition. It's legitimate within the party to have ambition. The assumption that the mere fact that you are a politician assumes that you have ambition. So the president cannot disparage ambition within the party. But when things have gone the way they are within the party about the support of the president, we expect that ambition to respond with humility to the reality of the fact that the president is currently unchallenged in ZANU-PF. So my side shows amboenda pamberi nebasa yekuti nyika iende pachigaro. So and ambition can always be, you can always tuck it under your armpits. Ichadzoka inaona nguva, there will always be a chance, and maybe you have a good chance when that time arises. But for the time being, look at what the people said by their participation in CAB3 and curtail your ambitions accordingly so that they are in sync with the rules and regulations of the party, the popularity of the president and the constitution of the party. The other aspect which comes out of it is that there was anxiety by Zimbabwe's well-wishers, those who have always wanted to see the country do well, and they had gone under cover during the last days of the last 2 decades of the First Republic. People who like Zimbabwe, who wish well for this country from abroad, yet sort of become reticent in their support of Zimbabwe, or actually, critical about the country which they wish so well for. President Mnangagwa restored their confidence and trust in Zimbabwe. And you see it by the amount of investment which has come into the country in the last 6-7 years. Big investment. A country which had no currency suddenly now is one of the strongest currencies in the
world. I just laugh at,
especially with the collapse of the petrodollar, the impending collapse of the petrodollar. All the geopolitics now is about the survivability of the petrodollar, and we are now a gold-supported country when everybody wants gold. So we now have currency, and the president has nurtured that financial evolution with dexterity to be a point where now our vaults of gold are full, and everybody is confident Zimbabweans can relate to each other because they've got a currency. Without a currency, we can't even relate to each other among us. I can't even relate to any one of you. He has restored all that. So these people wanted This is also including the business community. They want stability and continuity. And when there was a feeling that 2028 was a terminal point for him, everybody started becoming anxious. Azvichaita right here munyika umu, zvichaita right here munyika umu, munhu amutsa chinhu akabva zvaari kubva zvichaita right here. So what the CAB process has done is shown the people outside that the people of Zimbabwe want that person to be on the job. And their confidence in this country, their trust in this country has been restored. I feel proud, today I was reading, this is the Sunday Mail. One article here refers to the former American Ambassador Charles Ray. He was here for about 2 years. And being black, being a former war veteran, he loved this country. He took the bold step of saying, even if there are sanctions by my country, I'll fight to make America try to see things differently, which was really an act of boldness considering the hostility at that time. And he initiated the removal of sanctions of our two institutions, which is IBDC and Agribank. He did. He's writing an article now praising the president for his founding role on the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, seeing it as a possible bridge about America and Zimbabwe coming together, because what makes the world move around is capital, money, fund. That's why the president says open for business. You may say whatever you want, but if you don't have capital to develop your country, you are done. That's why Marx was right, Karl Marx, when he says the capital. He was right. So he's praising the president, coming out into the open, saying what Zimbabwe did with the Victoria Falls is a bridge where America and Zimbabwe can come together. This is somebody who is retired as an ambassador as well, but he's touting the good work which the president has done. He's not the only one. We have investors from the UK, R.B. Clough, the one who did Fred Rebecca. He is reaching out again to say, I want to marshal as much money as I can from the UK, which is, of course, a global money center, to Zimbabwe, because we are confident about you and your leadership and continue it. Because they looked at this process with anxiety to say, how is it going to go? Will it be the end of the man who has done so much to change the fortunes of this country? They got assurance, they're coming back. And we got friends from South Africa, Theo Deaga, who used to be President Mandela. He's an expert on land issues and the issue of compensation. He's back at the country talking about how we can achieve an all-round positive land policy, which will make sure that the region can attract capital and become a major agro-industrial force on the global stage. Looking at what has happened in Ukraine, a major competitor on the global stage. These are people who are Afrikaners. They are voting for President Mnangagwa to say the era of Mugabe is gone. This is Zimbabwe which we want, and there's continuity to that era. There's even now talking of having a conference of minorities. They no longer want to see themselves as a racial group. They want to see themselves as a part of the general population, and maybe a minority with the majorities. They are looking at summits where we can smoothen each other out as a region and present ourselves as a destination of capital where money can make wonders and bring prosperity, so that this ghost of xenophobia can be exorcised. And when you see a former minority group which identified itself as a race now beginning to want to be as part of a minority which is African and part of the community, and it's so influential because it is the preferential access to capital, it is a good thing. It will make us as a region be seen in a positive light. He works with some young people from the ANC whom I know who have been to the president, Sivile Mabandla, who works from the ANC confident cadre. This is a big party which has charted Africa's pan-Africanist identity since 1910. These are good things. They are looking positively at Zimbabwe to deflect attention from those who want to sow discord among the Africans with xenophobia and make it look like Africans can never love each other. These are positive things, and our president is seen as a champion of this new Africa. You saw what he did when he brought East Africa and SADC together, and we took advantage of a more positive American President Trump. The initiative about DRC has borne fruit. The guns are dying there. You remember the slogan of the African Union was the guns must die. And our president, because of his institutional memory over the years, he has initiated in the diplomatic policies and reach outs, which have now made Africans come together, but in the process made those who have had a negative view of Africa change their mind. And when there's peace in the DRC, it's the most important country because of size, because of resources, because of energy. It's a good thing. And it always, we don't want to claim credit if big countries like America see what is positive. We want just to show that this is the way it can be done. There's another way other than to try to make African countries continuously be strife, where African countries are always the object of aid, US aid being the main thing, not capital. So this is a good thing which is going on. And this kind of policies require continuity and stability, particularly by a strong party like ZANU-PF, to continue to be at the center of politics in Zimbabwe by popular consent, because that's how we came into power in 1980. So this CAB3 has shown Zimbabweans their democratic jamboree for the world. And I think we've ticked our boxes positive in the perception. There are those who were used within our country who thought this country was beholden to foreigners, that foreigners would come in and say, Zimbabweans, you cannot do this, about that. But all the countries of former European colonial powers, imperial powers, they've been supportive or acquiescent. They see it as Zimbabweans coming of age in their democratic processes. So those who think that this country was brokered to foreigners, again, they've been marginalized. So we are being respected as a people with their own identity who can be masters of their own destiny. It's a good thing. This is what the Second Republic has done. That's what President Mnangagwa has done. So it is right and proper that the people of Zimbabwe, through their democratic engagement of this constitutional issue, have demonstrated that we are people who are proud of their democratic ethos. And this is why we are so happy as the politiburo of ZANU-PF about this process, and we are now awaiting its final outcome in the hands, of course, of those who should be doing what they should about this process. We are also happy that we have notched up global attention for the first time in major newspapers of business. To have, Forbes magazine is a serious business publication. To have it praise Zimbabwe, it's a good thing. Before we used to be in the tabloids of England, the news of the world, about all sorts of things. Hey, avadi magay, hey, avadi this and that, hey, peripheral things which are not central to the prosperity of the people of Zimbabwe. But now we are getting attention from Forbes magazine. You now can get Bloomberg. You now see Zimbabwe. Why? I mean, we are the only country in the global south which produces lithium sulfate. Australia doesn't produce it, so it's raw. in Zimbabwe, we're going a notch high. We are a country in the center of Africa with a lot of steel resources, but far from the sea. We are landlocked. But by beneficiating steel, to a level which no other African country is doing now, in sub-Saharan, even probably even in North Africa, we are way, way ahead. And I want you to watch some of the documentaries which are now coming out of Manise, coming out about what we have done. And what it has done is it has shown the president as a leader. Value chains are a new normative in economics. They reflect the interlinked nature of the global economy. So if you are a value chain, you are part of a process from A to Z, which produces a certain goods, and you have a role to play in that value chain. And in the last speeches of the president in the politiburo, he has emphasized the emerging role of Zimbabwe in the global value chain. I've just talked about the steel value chain. South Africa now imports all its good steel from Zimbabwe every week to go and fabricate in South Africa because they have the most advanced steel fabrication industry. It's a value chain which we are part to. We have a lithium value chain. Morocco in the last month was trying to import lithium from Zimbabwe, but of course the president rightly said no. We cannot, lithium sulfate. We know he's insisting that we go to the final stage, produce batteries like this one, using our lithium in Zimbabwe. These are the value chains which they talk about. But to have these value chains develop, they need stability because they require a lot of capital and the confidence of those with technical expertise, the big companies which are in that. And when there is an appearance of fractions, when a relay stick is being passed from A to B, then that capital shies away because they cannot be sure of themselves, in that political atmosphere. So the president is providing that conducive environment, and the people of Zimbabwe are endorsing him in front of the global stage to say we have stability, we have continuity, and value chains can develop in Zimbabwe where you can predict that your company which produces things in country A or B or C which are emanating from Zimbabwe, those products can be available because the country is stable. It's not rugged by petty differences over who should be the ruler. This is a good thing, and I again repeat, if you have ambition, if it means if it is good ambition, it is a good purpose. Give your good ideas to the man who is in charge. Tell him that this is the way it could be done. But don't try to destabilize the system and say I take over because when the population doesn't want it. Because we cannot try you when we have no record as proven as the one which the president has demonstrated in the last 6 to 7 years. He has demonstrated and has delivered. Give him a chance. What is good which you want to do which is not doing? Tell us. Then we can whisper in his ears, but don't try to upset the apple cart and to try to upstage the system simply because it's now your ambition has become voting and destructive. No, that's not what the population wants. And in their behavior, their conduct, their resonant response to the CAB3 in support of continuity of presidential rule until 2030, the population has sent a signal which is good for the country, which is good for the business community on the global stage. So we are very happy at the party, but I just wanted to put those points. It's not only America, it's not only South Africa. There is a European MP, former member of parliament who loves Zimbabwe, who is investing in gold. I think it's Mario Lasal. He's writing positive things about Zimbabwe in Europe. These are people of influence who have a leadership. That's why I mentioned them, people with influence. Influence which goes beyond, which casts Zimbabwe in another light other than the ones where we're being stigmatized about issues which do not help to bring prosperity to the people of Zimbabwe. That's what the president wants. That's what he went to fight for as a young man when we started the liberation movement, and he was the pioneer, military cadre of that era. He's lucky to have survived to be where he is. There's a lot of institutional memory about why those young people and those young women died. They died for prosperity, not for anything else. And the people of Zimbabwe who fought to support those young people, I mean, who supported this place, they fought. They did it because they were seeing the prospect of prosperity. So the goal of prosperity is central to the presidential vision, and that vision is the one which is being endorsed by the call and support of continuity of his rule up to 2030. It's a good thing. Let's all accept what the majority wants and behave according to the wishes and aspirations of the majority. I am ready to answer many other things which in any direction, on any issue, I don't shy away from answering, but I hope that you get the thrust of where ZANU-PF party is, which is that we are very happy about the political maturity, the enthusiasm, and the structured and organized way the people of Zimbabwe have conducted themselves in a democratic process on a constitution which they fought for, which they wrote, of which our president, of course, was the main drafter. That constitution is alive and well and doing good for the country. I think. Yes, I'm just being whispered by my director. But another, even within the domestic economic performance, we're expecting another wheat bumper harvest this year. This is a country which used to import wheat. We have joined Ethiopia as the only African country which doesn't import wheat. Our granaries are full. When you can feed yourself, you can proudly stand among nations and say, we are Zimbabweans. This is another aspect which gives even those in the diaspora so much pride. We are not worried, even when with xenophobic things in South Africa. Our people, they are very productive. They are known to be hard workers. They are hard grinders, and they're also very, very capable. They turn capital into profit better than any other because of the high level of education which comes from the country where they originate from. So we think, the President Cyril was here. He met our president. They were talking about these value chains I'm talking about, to see how our economy and that of South Africa can converge. And there's a very big opportunity for Southern Africa because one of the countries, two of the countries, three of the countries, maybe four, have got a major resources in energy. Mozambique is becoming the rival to Qatar because of Cabo Delgado. I think I also want to encourage Zimbabwean young people, Zimbabwean businessmen to fly and see what's going on in Cabo Delgado in Mozambique. Thoroughly modern, global class gas infrastructure in Mozambique, that region where people used to say they were terrorists, they were Muslims. It's changed, it's been changed. And very soon we will be able to build power stations there using gas, and then we transmit power to Zimbabwe to exploit all the minerals in South Africa and Zimbabwe so that this region can claim its rightful role as the source of most of the metals which drive the change from fossil fuel to new energy. Southern Africa is well endowed. All of those resources within proximity. I've said that, but for those in doubt, what are called the transition metals are all in Southern Africa. Zimbabwe, lithium. South Africa, manganese and vanadium. DRC, cobalt, 70%. Zambia and DRC, copper. All the cars, they drive nickel. Tanzania has developed a nickel industry which will soon be, rival even that of Indonesia. Madagascar may also be coming soon. And look at the cooperation which is going on now, even in energy between Botswana and Angola. So this is Africa's hour. This is Africa's hour. And our president has such prestige for what he has demonstrated Zimbabwe can do at a time when Africa's hour has come. So why do you want that man? Driver chitima zvakanaka tiri kufamba maura kutsvaga zvinhu kutsvaga zvei zvakare ndinoda kupromiswa zvimwe zviroto zvisina kana ana akambopurwa kuti zvakamboitika. And maybe even sometimes the academic content of some of those things is very much circumscribed, to put it mildly. No, this one has proven it. NDS1 was a trial and error for him. It has proven. Now he has got NDS2 coming in. The beauty about it is it's based on proven delivery. In business school, you learn by what is called a case study. In America, you are taught about Apple, how it became what it is. The IBM, Boeing, how it became what it is. In China, they tell you how Alibaba became, how Huawei became what it is. That's how you learn in business school. Experience, case study. Now, the president has got a clutch of case studies of success within Zimbabwe, of which the wheat one is but one. Now, our people can build on what they feel proud with. That's where we are today with this man. Now we want to bring some people who has nama case studies that mamboteerera zvakataurwa muCAB3 nevanhu momboregera vambomhanya nechimuti ichi hamuna akagara wakachibata kuti tichienda kwatinoenda. And this is why as a party we are so happy about how our people conducted themselves in support of the president during CAB3. I thank you. I just said that sidewind, but I'm ready to accept any questions. Thank you.
So I just want to take one question, and then I will be giving you analysis post.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Name and speak up so that everybody else hears, even Maruku Seripako.
Well, please give us your name and media house. Marshall? Banya.
And it's Kunyazon's
I'm name Mike.
Wapi, you can give him one iripanapap.
Okay.
Zokai. Chimirepa po cheap. Zogara kuchea kwa wane basi.
Yeah, it's already.
I don't know, it's muffled. Maybe my ears.
Maybe.
Okay, I think I have to cut it there because it's taking questions and I'll be back with analysis on this matter. Is signing off. Let me love and leave you.